Twist Up in Cuphead has probably been ranked one of the worst guns in the game, purely because there are very few bosses that require you to actually shoot upwards, but the damage is quite good if you get everything to hit, so that's why I'm going to be completing the entire game, only using Twist Up. Now, I haven't really seen anyone else try this, but if anyone has, I am not copying them because I haven't seen anyone do it. So, without further ado, let's just get started. So, okay, starting a new save, you gotta go through the book, then tutorial, just the usual stuff when you start a new save. And then, because, we only got to use Twist Up, I had to P rank Forest Follies to be able to get Twist Up from Inkwell Isle 4. So this is just a quick montage of me P ranking Forest Follies. Yes, it's very, very epic. And now we just go down and do the mausoleum. It's a quick snippet of the mausoleum, just to prove I did it. And then we're heading over to Inkwell Isle 4 and getting Twist Up, so we can finally start the challenge. So, there we go. Now, our first boss today will be the Root Pack. Now, personally, I think Twist Up for the Root Pack was actually quite decent. For the first two phases, it completely decimated them. The last phase, of course, was a bit difficult, but it wasn't too bad overall. So yeah, that's the Root Pack done. Next was Ground, which, as you can imagine, was quite easy. The target was quite easy to hit, since you just had to stay relatively close and shoot, because the target doesn't really go up, you don't have to aim. Last phase was quite easy, you just had to be careful for the smashing grave down, whatever you call it. And then that's Grand done. Next boss is Hildeberg, which you can only really use one weapon for. So, just quickly, here's Hildeberg. Next, I wanted to get some more charms, so I did Treetop Trouble by only using Twist Up. No P ranking this time, because we already got Twist Up. But I've P ranked this before, so it's pretty much easy. Just kind of had to, shoot, run and gun, which really wasn't too hard, so we completed Treetop Trouble. And then we got Smoke Bomb and Coffee, just useful for other bosses. And next we're going to be moving on to our next boss, which is Cagney Carnation. Cagney with Twist Up was relatively hard, purely because the first phase where she did her seed, whatever you call them, I think that one was quite hard because you had to stay close to hit her. Then the other two phases were fine, just had to dodge the boomerang and the carrots, whatever you call them. And the last phase was particularly hard because I could only really shoot her when I was on the closest mushroom. So eventually we knocked out Cagney, which was not too hard. Then we moved on to Ribby and Croaks, which was quite, it was a bit of a pain because, well, the first phase was, quite difficult because I could only shoot them when they were, with Croaks was doing, I think his name was, those firefly attacks, so I could only really do damage when that was happening. And the other two phases were fine. I had to hope I got the bulls for the final phase, which I did most of the time. So, and I knocked them out, which is good. Now we move on to Inkwell Isle 2, and we're taking on Beppy the Clown. Now this was probably one of the first of the headache bosses. What I mean by that is it was a pain, basically. And it was not the second, third, or fourth phase. It was the first phase. It was so annoying because the sudden movements, and I used Wheatstone. That didn't do much, but eventually I managed to do it because I had to. The other phases were fine. Second was easy, third was easy, and so was last. So we knocked out Beppy. Next we move on to Baroness von Bonbon, which was really just luck. I had to get anything but the muffin because with Twist Up that was a pain to hit, and if I did get it, I had to use a super. It was it was very difficult, but I got lucky, and I never really had enough HP for the last phase, so it was quite annoying, but we did it. Next boss is Jimmy the Great, another plain one, so here's me defeating Jimmy the Great. Beautiful. Now move on to Wally Warbles, another plain one. Here's me defeating Wally. Great. And, okay, now we move on to the biggest roadblock, Grim Matchstick. The first phase I could do fine with Twist Up, but then the second and third were impossible. I tried so many combinations, but I just couldn't do it. So I had to do what I never wanted to do. I had to give up, and I had to use Pea Shooter. I know, but it was very hard. So the answer is no. I couldn't beat the entire game with Twist Up, but I'm still going to continue. So, you know, with Pea Shooter it wasn't that bad, so I just did it with Pea Shooter. Here's me doing it with Pea Shooter. There we go, and I knocked him out. We're moving on to Inkwell Isle 3 now, and we start off with Captain Brinybeard, the easiest boss in the final 2 isles. Easy with Twist Up, you know, first phase knocked out. Then the final phase was quite hard because of the fast moving fire bubbles, whatever you call them, coming out of the ship's tongue. So I had to avoid them, and then the laser was fine. So we defeated Captain Brinybeard and moving on to Calamaria, which another plain one. Here's me defeating Calamaria. Very good. Now we're moving on to Sally Stage Play, which was another easy boss. First and second phase were fine because you know, target moved very slow, often stood still, managed to do a lot of damage. Third phase was easy because Twist Up's like spread, so I could just stand under her. And the final phase, you know, Twist Up, so I just killed her really easily. Now we move on to Verna Vermin, which was quite easy. The first phase was quite hard though, because it was always moving and I had to get quite close, but I managed to do the second phase, which was easy, and the final phase, which was literally a breeze. So now moving on to Phantom Express, which is another headache one. So the second, third, and fourth phase were easy, walk in the park. The first phase, the easiest phase, was not, because I had to get close, and the pumpkins weren't helping, and then I often missed the eyes, and it was just a bit of a jam, and it was very, very, very hard. But now we're moving on to possibly what I thought would be the biggest roadblock, but no, it was actually quite easy. Rumour Honeybottoms is the next one, which was just plain sailing, really. First 2 phases were fine, as you can imagine. Final phase I thought would be very hard, but really it was a joke. I just had to shoot down, and then Twist Up would go to the right, and I knocked it out pretty quickly. Next, moving on to the final plain one, Dr. Cow's Robot, which was quite easy. You know, just regular Dr. Cow, defeated him. Now finally, we move on to Inkwell Isle, the casino. Now I had to get Chips, Bettigan, Pip and Dot, or Mangosteen, or else it'd be quite hard to do with Twist Up. Chips Bettigan was easy because you just had to shoot, and it pretty much auto-locked on his face. Pip and Dot, same thing, you just had to shoot and it went up. Mangosteen was easy as well, you just had to shoot up. And then finally, King Dice was, I wouldn't say impossible, I wouldn't say easy, but with Twist Up he was fine, you know. X moves pretty much decimated him. King Dice was over pretty quickly. And finally we could attempt the Devil. So, the first phase of the Devil was quite easy. Some of the magic things were quite hard. It took quite a bit because Twist Up's damage isn't very good. But on the underground phase was easy as well because Twist Up's like spread and I could just shoot him and all shots would hit. And finally, for the final phase, you know, I used my super and it was over pretty quickly. Pretty pathetic ending, but you know, game is completed. So I didn't manage to complete this challenge, unfortunately, but I did every boss apart from one, which is fine. Hope you guys have enjoyed this long video. It would really mean the world to me if you subscribed and liked. Anyway, I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.